Guys, hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So this video is going to be on how to draw your brows and also shape on your brows. So if you are interested in learning how to do that, please keep on watching and don't forget to like this video, share it and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much. So when drawing our brows, you're going to be needing 4 products. Like I always like to call it 4 products, but then it's basically 5 things you'll be needing. First off, you'll be needing your eyebrow, your spoolie. You'll be needing a spoolie, and then next off, an angle brush. And then you also need a concealer. This is the Elegel Pro Concealer in the shade Fawn. And then you'll be needing a concealer brush and an eyebrow pencil. I always use David's number 3 eyebrow pencil because I have really dark brow hairs, but then if you have lighter brow hairs, I advise you reach for this Catch Me. This is the Catch Me eyebrow pencil in number 18. I always like to start my eyebrow routine by applying powder all around my eyebrow area. After applying the powder around my eyebrow area, I'll reach for my spoolie and I'll start to brush my brow hairs in place. Next off, after brushing my brow hairs in place, I'll be reaching for my eyebrow pencil, which I will be using to line my brows. Like I said earlier, I always like to use my David's number 3 eyebrow pencil. So I start by lining the bottom part of my brows. After lining the bottom part of my brows, I'll be proceeding to line the upper part of my eyebrow. So I start to line the upper parts, gently moving from the beginning down towards the middle parts of my brows, then I tail it down to the end of the brow area. Then I start to fill in the brows gently. So I'll just sharpen the pencil now and move over to the other brows. So I start to trace the brows, then I start to line it over to what's the middle of the brows, then down to the end of the brows. After doing that, I move over to the upper part of the brows. I'm also trying to ensure that both brows are on the same level. So I just trace and I start to line the upper part of the brows. I line it down to the middle part, then I tail it down towards the end of the brows. Then I fill in the brows. After doing that, I reach for my spoolie, then I start to brush the brow hairs in place. I'm just basically trying to blend everything in place, and I reach for my razor blade now to start to shape on my eyebrow. So I'm just going to open that blade and start to use it now to take out any outgrowths, any hairs outside of the line I have drawn. Take note, when shaping your brows, you always have to ensure that you are very careful so you don't mistakenly use the blade in cutting yourself. So I'm just using the blade now to take out the hairs underneath the lines I have drawn. I'm carefully doing this. Like as you can see, I'm going against the direction of the growths of the hair. It's basically just to ensure that I really shape it properly. Then I'll be doing same for the other brows. So I just brushed the hairs, then now I'm using the razor blades to shape on the hairs above and also going against the direction of the growth of the hair to trim the hairs underneath the line I have drawn. Don't forget, please be careful when doing this so you don't cut yourself. So I'll just cut out whatever hairs are outside of my brow area. So after doing that, I'll just brush the hairs downwards so that I can trim out whatever hair would go beneath the line of my brows. Then I start to take out the hairs there. So next up, after doing that, I reach for my fan brush and dust off the falling hairs off my face. Then I reach for my spoolie, then I start to blend the hairs in place. I'm basically just trying to really define my brows well and then fill in the beginning part of my brows. Then I go back to my spoolie to blend the products in with my brows. Then I just reach back to my brow pencil now to just darken the ends of my brows. The end of a brow should always be a bit darker, unlike the beginning part of your brows. The beginning part should be lighter than the ends of your brows. So I'm just going now to just further define the shape of my brows well and blend all the products used in with that spoolie. So I'm trying to be very careful. Then applying more products where need be and further defining the shape of my brows with the eyebrow pencil. Then I'm just creating hair-like strokes to the beginning part of my brows. Then I reach back for my spoolie to blend that in place. So after blending the products in, I'll just line and check to see if there are any problem areas with the brows. If there are any, I'll go back to ensure that I correct. If there are none, I just continue and I move over to the next step of defining the brows with the concealer. So now I'm basically just applying the concealer underneath my brows. Then I'm reaching for my angle brush to start to define the brows with that concealer. So I'm just dragging that concealer down carefully just to ensure that I don't mistakenly clean out what I've already drawn in. I'm just using a concealer now to define the shape of the brows properly and ensure everything is well cleaned. The concealer is basically like an eraser, like it just helps to just put things together. So I'm going to the upper part of my brows now. I'm just using a concealer now to just clean out the shape of the brows there. So I'm going carefully, just trying to clean out and define the brows properly. I reach back for more product and I keep defining the shape of the brows. And while doing this, always trying to ensure that you are also blending the concealer in as you move. You just don't want to just put the products there and leave it there. You have to try to ensure that you are blending it so that by the time you are done with everything, blending the brows wouldn't be a problem. So now moving over to the other brows, I'm trying to trace to ensure that I am defining the brows so that both of them would be on the same level. So I'm carefully doing this, then going over to define the other parts of the brows, the middle part down to the ends of the brows. I'm carefully doing this just to ensure we don't clean out the brows we've already drawn in. Then after doing that, for the lower brows, I'm moving over to the upper part of that eyebrow. So I'm just applying concealer on top of that brow and using my angle brush to define the upper part of the brows after I have traced from where I had highlighted on the other brows. So I'll just keep defining that brow. You can see what I'm doing. I'm just going gently and cleaning the shape of that brows out well so that everything looks well put together. Then I start to check now just to ensure that the drawn brows are not going out of my brow area. So after doing that, I'll just move over now to my concealer brush. I'll be using the concealer brush to just blend out everything we've done. So I'm just using a concealer brush now to blend all the concealer. I'm basically just blending it into my skin. And then I'll take off that concealer and product that's in between my brow areas. I'm just blending everything well so that it looks well put together. So guys, that's basically how I draw my brows. And if you have any questions or suggestions, please, you can go to the comment section and drop that. And thank you for watching this video. I hope you guys found this video really helpful, and from now onwards you should be able to practice until you're able to draw the brows that you really like. And please don't forget, subscribe to my channel, like this video, share it, and just spread the word about your girl. And until my next video, may the grace of Almighty God keep you. And if you have any questions or anything you would like me to, any video you'd like me to create on this channel, please go to the comment section and let me know. Thank you very much. Bye guys.